Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Is it possible to turn on your camera?
Please.
Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Today we are very fortunate to have Association of His Grace Sreenivas Gopal Prabhu, who will be sharing the nectar from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 5, chapter number 19, Sloka number 26. Prabhuji, over to you, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, can you hear me okay?
Yes, Prabhuji, you are audible.
Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Shunvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shavana Kirtanaha Hridayantasto hi abhadrani vidurnoti susatam nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya Bhagavati uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you for providing this opportunity to perform seva. Though I am not qualified and not realized, but I'll try to repeat what I heard for my own purification, for the pleasure of Lordships and Guru and Gauranga. I seek all your blessings and prayers, and so that I can one day become a better instrument in the service of Guru and Gauranga. And my sincere gratitude to Sankarshan Priya Prabhu is persuaded me to take up this seva. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Today's verse is 5th canto, 19th chapter, 26th verse. Ye Shraddhaya Barhisi Bhagaso Havir Niruptamishtam Niruptamishtam Vidimantra Vastuta Yeka Prutan Namabir Ahuto Muda Gruhanati Purna Swayamasi Samprabhu Yayi Shraddhaya Barhisi Bhagaso Havir Niruptamishtam Vidimantra Vastuta Yeka Prutan Namabir Ahuto Muda Gruhanati Purna Swayamasi Samprabhu Yashraddhaya Barhisi Bhagaso Havir Niruptamistam Vidimantra Vastuta Ekaprutan Namabir Rahuto Muda Gruhanati Purna Swayamashisham Prabhu. Synonyms and translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Yea, by whom the inhabitants of Bharatavarsha, Shraddhaya, faith and confidence, Parhisi, in the performance of Vedic ritualistic sacrifices, Bhagasa, by division, Havi, oblations, Niruptam, offered, Ishtam, to the desired deity, Vidhi, by the proper method, Mantra, by reciting mantras, Vastuta, with proper ingredients, Eka, that one supreme personality of Godhead, Pratak, separate, Namabhi, by names, Ahuta, called, Muda, with great happiness, Grihanati, he accepts, Purna, the supreme Lord, who is full in himself, Swayam, personally, Asisam, of all benedictions, Prabhu, the bestower. Translation. In India, Bharatavarsha, there are many worshippers of the demigods, the various officials appointed by the Supreme Lord, such as Indra, Chandra, and Surya, all of whom are worshipped differently. The worshippers offer the demigods their oblations, considering the demigods part and parcel of the whole, the Supreme Lord. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead accepts these offerings and gradually raises the worshippers to the real standard of devotional service by fulfilling their desires and aspirations. Because the Lord is complete, He offers the worshippers the benedictions they desire, even if they worship only part of His transcendental body. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In Bhagavad Gita 9.13, Lord Krishna says, Mahatmanamstu mam partha daivim prakritim ashritaha bhajanti ananya manaso jnatva bhutadim avyayam. O son of Pruta, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Mahatmas, advanced devotees, worship only the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Others, however, who are also sometimes called Mahatmas, worship the Lord as Ekatvena Prutak- Prutakwena. In other words, they accept the demigods as different parts of Krishna and worship them for various benedictions. Although the demigods, although the devotees of the demigods thus achieve the desired results offered by Krishna, they have been described in Bhagavad Gita as Pruta Jnana, not very intelligent. Krishna does not desire to be worshipped indirectly through the different parts of his body. Krishna wants direct devotional worship. Therefore, a devotee who directly worships the Lord Krishna through staunch devotional service, as recommended in Srimad Bhagavatam, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena Yajeta Purusham Param, is very quickly elevated to the transcendental position. Nevertheless, devotees who worship the demigods, the different parts of the Lord, receive the benedictions they desire, because the Lord is the original master of all benedictions. If anyone wants a particular benediction, for the Lord to award, it is not at all difficult. ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवां च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितां च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरि वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमा ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्या देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today's verse is from Canto 5th, entitled The Creative Impetus, Chapter 19, a description of the island Jambudvipa, verse 26. This particular verse in a section comes in a section called Demigods Glorifying Bharatavarsha. So, a quick context of this verse. The central theme of this verse is faith. We all, where do we dispose our faith, and in general, either demigods or supreme personality of Godhead. So the broader context is all you know. Parikshit Maharaj has 7 days to perfect his life. So due to the curse, so he spent 7 days hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam with the utmost attentively from Sri Sukadeva Goswami Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj inquires many things, but he also inquires more about the cosmic manifestation. It is also Krishna's system. And in this particular canto, great described greatly about Bhumandala and Jambudvipa. In this particular chapter, starts with prayers by Hanuman to Lord Ramchandra, and this section of this chapter talks about demigods glorifying Bharatavarsha. And as you heard last two couple of classes from Prasanatma Prabhu and Prasadeshwar Prabhu, described greatly about the importance of this tract of the land, Bharatavarsha. And so demigods takes great fortune to glorify this Bharatavarsha. So, and for all of us who have taken this birth in Bharatavarsha, it's a great fortune, and we should recognize and we should not waste our life. It's a perfect environment for any individual to raise his consciousness and take up to the path of pure devotional service. So, as stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita, ಭರತ ಭೂಮಿತೆ ಹೈಲ ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಜನ್ಮಹಾರ ಜನ್ಮ ಸಾರ್ಥಕ kari kara kara para upakara. So as one who was taken the birth in the human form of life in the land of Bharatavarsha, one should make use of this life to make his life successful and make others benefit others by preaching and making their life also successful. So uh, we have to perfect our life, and how? As following the footsteps path shown by Guru Parampara. And it's a golden opportunity, as mentioned in the previous verses. And we should not be like one of the purport or translation Prabhupada says, should not be like animals are freed and again captivated again. So we should be utilizing this great opportunity as we have taken the birth in the Bharatavarsha. So the next question is, how do we perfect our lives? From again Chaitanya Charitamrita Majjalila, Tate Krishna Bhaje Kare Gurura Sevana Maya Jala Chute Paya Krishnera Charana. So conditioned souls engage their service to Supreme Lord, and simultaneously we have to carry out the orders of spiritual masters and serve them at most our abilities. So then Maya Jala Chute, then we will be able to come out of these clutches of Maya and we become ourselves eligible to take the shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. So that's the context where we are. So in this particular verse, Ye Shraddhaya Barhisi Bhagaso Havir Niruptamishtam Vidhi Mantra Vastuta. In this particular second line talks about Ishtam. Ishtam means like there are different, as demigods are describing, there are various people in the Bharata Varsha. They take they worship different kinds of demigods according to their ishtam, means according to their desires. So what do they do? Shraddhaya barhisi nurtam havir, with faith. Shraddha, with faith, they perform Vedic sacrifices. They do the offer the oblations havir, and mantra vastuta, basically reciting the mantras prescribed for the various demigods and with proper ingredients. That is, Ya Shaddaya Barisi Bhagaso Havir Niruptamishtam Vidhi Mantra Vastuta. So the next part is Ekaha Prutan Namabir Ahuto Muda. So Namabir Ahuto. So this Supreme Personality of Godhead, Eka Prutan, is called by many separate names, and muda granati. So when worship is happens either through directly or indirectly, with the with the muda granati means with great happiness he accepts, right? He accepts all the offerings, and he provides the benedictions like Asisam Prabhu, and because he is the bestower of all the benedictions. So that is the verse description. So there are many people in the Bharata Varsha with faith perform Vedic sacrifices and offer various offerings to their desired demigods by reciting mantras with proper ingredients. However, Supreme Lord is one and called by various names, happily accepts because he is Purna, he is complete in himself. He is the bestower of all benedictions. So one of the key points from the purport translation, Prabhupada mentions about therefore Supreme Personality of Godhead accept all these offerings and gradually raises the worshippers to the real standard of devotional service by fulfilling their desires and aspirations. So even though somebody wants to worship various demigods or whatever, but Supreme Lord is basically so merciful and is Purna, and he gradually raises their consciousness to the up to perform the direct loving devotional service. So again, quickly, like as mentioned, like we all know, like the Vedas talks about 33 core demigods. People worship them for different purposes, and it's also discussed in Srimad Bhagavatam second canto and elsewhere. demigod people do the take up to demigod worship because somebody wants more health, wealth, etc., etc. So Prabhupada mentions in the purport whether one has material desires or no desires, takama, rakama, one should, Prabhupada recommends one to perform direct devotional service. So in the purport, Prabhupada talks about, so basically starts with the Bhagavad Gita sloka 9.13. So in general, there are people worshippers categorized into different groups based on their object of worship, their purpose of worship, whom they are approaching. One set of one group is called Mahatmas. Basically, they are unallied, pure devotees of the Lord. Then there are, yes, Mataji, can you hear me? Hare Krishna. Prabhu, can I continue? Hare Krishna, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, Prabhu, it was some disturbance, Prabhu.
Okay.
Please continue, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So Prabhupada talks about like there are categorized into 5 groups. One is Mahatmas. Mahatmas, as described in the verse, Mahatmanastu Mam Partha Daivim Prakriti Mashitaha Bhajanti Anya Manaso Jnatva Bhutadam Abhyayam. So basically, they are under the shelter of Dai Prakriti, and they basically take shelter of Dai Prakriti, and they perform, they engage in the devotional service of Supreme Lord. So it's without any material motives. Then there are 4 kinds of pious men from Bhagavad Gita 7.26. Chaturvida bhajante mam jana sukritna arjuna arto jignasur artharthi jnani cha bharatarshava. So again, there are arto, artharthi, jignasur, and jnanis. There are 4 kinds of people. They are sukritis. They have, because of the piety, they basically take up to again this process of worship because of various reasons. Then there are other 3 categories. It's basically again from Bhagavad Gita verse 9:15. Like they are ekatvena, prutaktavena, bahuda. So it's jnana yajnena chapyanye yajanto mam upasate ekatvena, prutaktavena, bahuda vishvato mukham. So these basically ekatvena, these are kind of monists or impersonalists. They worship the Supreme Lord as they worships himself as one with the Supreme Lord. So basically, they think that they one day will become a Supreme Lord. So second one is they concoct various forms of the Supreme Lord and worship them. Third is basically worship the Supreme Lord in Vishwarupa format. So these are the different categories of the devotees, or different categories of the worshippers who approach the um, Supreme Lord directly or indirectly. Then this verse mainly focuses on the demigods glorify, basically worship of demigod worship. Right? So demigods glorification of the Bharata Varsha. So in this particularly talks about themselves, demigods. So who are the demigods, right? So the question is, demigods are the jivatmas. They are empowered living entities. They have the limited, they have limits to their power, and they are the representative of Supreme Lord. I think most they are either pure devotees, or they are Jnana or Jnana Misra, or Karma Misra devotees. So the examples we can take, there are many examples Prabhupada gives, or in the script Prabhupada gives, right? A prime minister and various ministers. Prime minister analogy given to as a supreme personality of kind of supreme personality of Godhead. And all these various ministers are kind of given an analogy to these demigods performing. They are representing various departments and these demigods helping the supreme personality of God is to take care of the various departments and to run this entire cosmic manifestation. The other examples also CEO and the department heads. So like that, so these are the demigods. Just the demigods kind of get an idea of what the demigods. So then why, the question is why we are people in general take to worship of demigods. So people in general, people has some desires. So to get fulfill those desires, people approach different kinds of they do different kinds of worship. So, but Prabhupada actually says in the purport. So, but Shrita Jnana he refers to. So, what does it mean? Basically, they have like they have less intelligence. Like from Bhagavad Gita 7.20, kamais tais teir hruta jnana prapadyante anya devata tam tam niyamam astaya prakritya niyataha swaya. So those whose intelligence has been stolen, hruta jnana, what they do, they basically they take the worship of anya devata. Anya devata means demigods, to other demigods. And then what happens, so they also follow like tam tam niyama mastaya, they follow the whatever the rules and regulations according to their natures, according to the prescribed demigods. Now so that is basically why one approaches the demigods to actually fulfill their desires. Mostly those desires are in the material nature. And also the one other question is like in general, how do we come to know about these various demigods, right? So in the past, at least before the social media, before the movies, right? In general, it was actually information was when people come to know from their family tradition, or probably from the local priests, etc. But now what's happening is in the world of social media, and then many people have many desires. They just come to just follow, and they create. Actually, I was in once we were in Seattle temple, and we had visitors, Chinese visitors. They come to temple and they were asking us to perform puja because they wanted more wealth and they wanted a good husband. So like that's how do they come to know? Basically, they were telling they were just watching some movie or something. So, but we have to be very, very careful because of this, what happens is blind follows blind, and there is a new set of traditions being created. Then, what does Lord Krishna say about the demigod worshippers? So, again from 9.23, Yepi anya devata bhakta ajante shraddhayanvitaha Tepe mam eva kaunteya ajanti avidhi purvakam. Lord basically says it's avidhi purvakam. Avidhi purvakam, it's a wrong way. It's because Lord expects direct, loving, devotional service. That's what pleases him. He doesn't want people to perform. Uh, he want to respect the demigods, but he doesn't want to treat them as the supreme personality of Godheads. So, as the translation for this verse is, those who are devotees of other gods and who worship them with faith actually worship only me. That means Supreme Personality of Godhead was son of Kunti, but that is so in a wrong way, avidhi purvakam. So the next question comes like, what is the preferred method? Preferred method is direct devotional service, and by completely surrendering to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like from Bhagavad Gita 18.66, Sarvadharman parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha saishyami ma suchaha. So basically saying, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. So then I will take care of, remove all sinful reactions. You don't need to worry. If the sinful reactions are removed, then there is no, I mean, that's Lord promises. So then the few analogies are given, right? When there is a plant or a tree, how do you pour the water? Do you pour the water to the root, or do you pour the water to various leaves and branches? So if you pour water to the root, and all everything is gets nourished. Similarly, again, when we actually honor prasadam, right? Do we honor feed to the belly, or do we just give to various parts of the body, right? So these are the analogies given. So similarly, when we worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all other demigods already included. So we don't need to do separately. So the demigods are, so to speak, different officers and directors in the government of the Supreme Lord. One has to follow the laws made by the government, not by the officers and directors. Similarly, everyone is to offer his worship to the Supreme Lord only. That will automatically satisfy the different officers and directors of the Lord. The officers and directors are engaged as representatives of government, and to offer some bribe to the officers and directors is illegal. This is stated here as avidhi purvakam. In other words, Krishna does not approve the unnecessary worship of the demigods. Now, a question comes, right? As practicing sadhakas, what happens if we have material desires? What should we do? And we are not. So again, Lord says from in the Bhagavatam, like second canto, third chapter, 10th verse, akama sarva kamova moksha kama udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purisham param. Either akama, no desires, sakama, or any material desires, or moksha kama, desires for material liberation. Anything we have, any of those things, udaradi. So with a broader intelligence, with a broader outlook, one approach to take the tivrena, with a great force, we should take up the process of bhakti yoga. That's way. So we will be. So we should worship. That's our Lord recommends. Even if we have any material desires, we should directly approach the Supreme Lord. So what does He do? As a practicing sadhakas, if we understand, if we know that all the demigods, most of the sadhakas aware of it. So demigods are part and parcel of Supreme Lord, and all the benedictions actually has to be sanctioned by Supreme Lord. With that knowledge, we approach the Supreme Lord, even for material desires. Lord will purify our material desires eventually, um, provide all the mercy so that actually we will take up to the pure devotional service. So with a broader outlook, Udaradi, one cannot obtain any results from demigods without getting the sanction from the Supreme. We should be aware of it. Even if we approach the demigods, the results are actually coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, a person with a broader outlook can see that ultimate authority of the Supreme Lord, even for the material benefits. Under the circumstances, one with a broader outlook, even with a desire for material enjoyment or for liberation, should take the worship of Lord directly. And everyone, whether an akama or sarvakama, sakama or mokshakama, should worship the Lord with great experience. This implies that bhakti yoga may be perfectly administered without any mixture of karma and jnana, as the unmixed sun rays is very forceful and therefore is called Tivra. Similarly, unmixed bhakti yoga of Navavida bhakti, hearing, chanting, etc., may be performed by one and all, regardless of inner motive. So, again, basically, here in this particular words is recommending even if some, even anybody, even if we have material desires, we don't need to approach any demigods, directly approach the Supreme Lord. With that, what happens is Lord will um, purify that our desires. Then eventually he will make us eligible to practice the pure devotional service in spite of all our original motives. So we have examples like Dhruva Maharaj, etc., from Bhagavatam. The question now, like people are approaching demigods, and like who is actually the providing all these benefits? All these benefits are actually um, even people are approaching the demigods, and these demigods are parts of the part and parcel of Supreme Lord, and they receive the benedict. Basically, they have to even you have to provide the benedictions. They have to receive from the Supreme Lord because He is the original Master. If anyone wants a particular benediction, the Lord to award it is for the Lord to award is not difficult. So we just have to understand even the demigods, whatever the benedictions they are providing, that are actually have to be sanctioned or approved by the Supreme Lord. So now there is one, sometimes when we come across, when we talk to people, they say all paths lead to the same destination. Is it true from the scriptures? Again, from Bhagavad Gita, Yanti deva vrata devan, pitrun yanti pitrvrataha, bhutani yanti bhuteja, yanti mam yajinopi mam. So, like, what is the destination of the worshippers of demigod? They basically reach to demigod planets. What is the destination of some worship? The Pitrus, the Pitrlokas. Um, so basically, this particular verse refutes that all paths doesn't lead to the same destination, because sometimes as we meet people and when we ask them to chant or when we ask them to come to temple or whatever, basically they'll say, no, we are doing this, we are doing this, everything is all leads to the same destination. So, but as this verse clearly states that all paths doesn't lead to the same destination. Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors to go to the Pitralokas. Those who worship the ghosts and spirits, right, they goes to um, take birth among those similar beings. And those who worship Supreme Lord will actually live with me and they will obtain or go to the supreme, the spiritual worlds. Um, there's another verse again from Bhagavad Gita. Antavattu palam tesham tadbhavati alpamedasam devan deva yajoyanti madbhakta yanti mamapi. So here alpamedasam is stressed. Alpamedasam means men of small intelligence worship demigods. Then what happens by worshipping the demigods? They get some fruits, but those fruits are limited and temporary. Limited means all the demigods are jivatmas, and they are subjected to this birth, old, death, disease, all those some different capacities of that, and whatever the benefits they give, they are temporary. So those who worship demigods, again we discussed again in the previous verse, they go to demigods planets. The devotees of Supreme Personality of Godhead ultimately reach the Supreme Planet. So this basically, these two verses refute that all paths doesn't lead to the same destination. So now comes the question, how do we know what is the right destination? So from Ishopanishad mantra 13, like in order to know the right destination, we have to approach the right authority. Anyad evahu sambhavat, anyad ahur asambhavat, iti sushruma dhiranam yenastad vichakshire. So we have to approach the dhira. So the dhira will help us train us to the what is the right destination, and help us the process to reach the destination. So the translation for this mantra, it is said that one result is obtained by worship the supreme cause of all causes, and that another result is obtained by worshipping that is not supreme. So basically, again, it's reputing all paths doesn't lead to the same destination. And all this is heard from undisturbed authorities who clearly explain. So we need to know this information, we need to know the process, and we need to follow his footsteps. So whom we should know from? That is the Dhira, right? Now the question is, how do we know who is Dhira, right? Dhira is who is coming from disciplic succession and who control the senses. Again, from Nectar of Instruction, verse 1. Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam jiva vegam udara prastha vegam yetan vegan yo vishayeta dhira sarvam apimam prithvim sa shishyat. So here basically whoever can tolerate jiva vegam, urge to speak, krodha, like demands of the mind's demands, manasa vegam, and the krodha vegam, the controlling of the anger, and then control of urge, belly, and genitals, and who is qualified to make the disciples all over the world. So we have to approach that dhira who can help us give this process and help us guide in what is the right destination, what is the right process. So now, what is the destination of a devotees of the Supreme Lord? So the destination is, we all know, the Goloka Vrindavan, right? What happens when we with this process we reach to, how do we reach there actually? I mean, so once we know who is that Dera, so we have to serve that greatest person. So the greatest person in this case, our spiritual masters who are connected to disciplic succession. So once there was a small story, in a village there was a person, so he wanted to serve the greatest person. So he basically reaches to the head of the village and he start to serve him. But head of the village, every week he goes to a nearby town and get the instructions from him. This person asks the head of the village, hey, where are you going? Where are you getting the instruction from? He basically communicated to the servant that I am actually going to the taluk. I am actually getting the instructions from my taluk head. Then he said, okay, now I wanted to serve the taluk head, and he goes to start serving the taluk head. Again, taluk head does the same thing every weekend. He goes somewhere and he gets his instructions. Then he asked him, where are you getting your instructions from? I am getting my instructions from district head. Then he said, okay, I wanted to serve the topmost person. Like I'll go and serve the district head. Again, the district head goes to the viceroy and king, etc., etc. Eventually, this person start to serve the king. King, every weekend he goes to a small place temple and he offers dandavats and he's getting the instructions. This person asks the king, hey, you are such a king, why are you doing this dandavat? What are you getting? The king explains to him, I am offering my obeisances to Supreme Personality of Godhead, and I am getting the instructions. I am offering my obeisances to the Guru. I am getting the instructions and from them. So then this the servant who is actually wants to serve the topmost person, if he realizes that why I am serving so many of these intermediate masters, why can't I should serve the Supreme Lord directly and get the mercy of from him. So for us, why take shelter of many demigods or many other empowered personalities? Take out the service, serve the topmost authority directly. So now, what is the actually conclusion, right? There are we talked about the demigod worship. Now we are basically saying directly approach the Supreme Lord. But there also, as we live in this material world, we actually like we are obligated to our forefathers. We basically take services from other people. We take services from Mother Nature. So like what is the final conclusion? Like, do we need to worship all of them, or what is the recommendation? So the devotees of the Lord are free from all sinful reactions. Okay, they don't need to perform. They are free from all obligations, and they don't need to perform any of these. Uh, um, when they don't need to perform any offerings to all of these demigods, etc. As mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 5th chapter, and 41st verse. Devasi bhutapta nunam pitrunam nakinkaro nayam runicha rajan sarvatmanaya sharanam sharanyam gato mukunda parit, paritya parityakartam. So in this particular verse, right, you do like Devarshis bhutapta nunam pitrunam. So, O king, one who has given up all material duties and has taken up full shelter of the lotus feet of the Mukunda. Mukunda, Gato Mukunda Paritya Kartam, who offers shelter to all, is not indebted to the demigods, great sages, ordinary living beings, relatives, friends, mankind, or even one's forefathers who have passed away. Since all such classes of living entities are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, one who has surrendered to the Lord's service has no need to serve such person separately. So basically, in this particular verse, basically says that we don't need to approach um, demigods. Just approach demigods or for any of these things. If you are taking the pure devotional service, we can directly approach the Supreme Lord by approaching the Supreme Personality of Godhead and performing loving devotional service. All others are pleased. So now, one like we have such a topmost process, topmost philosophy, then why we should settle for something less? Like there's the one story, story of touchstone by Sanatana Goswami. It is said that once a poor Brahmana worshipping Lord Shiva for a benediction, and Lord Shiva advised the devotee to go and see Sanatana Goswami. The devotee went to Sanatana Goswami and informed about the Lord Shiva's advice and seek out the benediction from Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana Goswami had a touchstone with him, but it was kept nearby the garbage. On the request of the poor Brahmana, Sanatana gave him the touchstone, and the Brahmana was very happy to have it. He now could get as much gold as he desired simply by touching the touchstone to iron. But after he left Sanatana, he thought, if touchstone is such a great benediction or a best benediction, why Sanatana Goswami kept it near the garbage? He therefore returned back to Sanatana Goswami and asked him, my dear sir, if this is the best benediction, why do you keep near the garbage? Sanatana Goswami then informed him, actually, this is not the best benediction, but are you prepared for the are you prepared to take the best benediction from me? The Brahmana said, yes, sir. Lord Shiva has sent me to you for that best benediction. Then Sanatana Goswami asked him to throw the touchstone in the water nearby and then come back. The poor Brahmana did so, and when he returned, Sanatana Goswami initiated him with the Hare Krishna mantra. Thus, by benediction of Lord Shiva, the Brahmana got the association of the best devotee of the Lord Krishna and was initiated in the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This small story, even though this Brahmana approached the in the form of demigod to Lord Shiva, because this Brahmana has the best intentions, the demigod directed him to a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord. So and so once this Brahmana reached a pure devotee of the Lord, pure devotee of the Lord understood his motivation, but he immediately didn't give the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. First, basically, he gave what he desired, but somehow he, by his behavior, he basically rose the curiosity in that person, eventually helped him to uh, purify his material desires. So, in summary, so we have to the four and overall in summary recognize. We have to recognize the position of the jiva, position of the demigods, position of the Supreme Lord, and we have to worship them accordingly. The process described in the Vedas. Most importantly, follow the Dhira, who is the spiritual master who can actually guide in that process. And then there are different worshippers have different motives. However, um, the one they don't, what they don't recognize is all these all the benedictions various worshippers are giving, they are actually directly coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And also, and whereas some may have this knowledge, some may not have this knowledge, where all the demigods are part and parcels of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they are basically different limbs of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So with that understanding, we also have to understand that demigods depend on the Supreme Lord for their whatever the benedictions or whatever they want to give. And the worship of the demigods is basically, as I said, it's an avidhi purvakam, it's the indirect method. And the worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is a direct. And now question would come, right? When you approach the demigods, they gave you whatever you desire. Whether whether it's good or bad, they don't care, because they're only because you are performing the tapasya or whatever the process, and that process is the fee for that benefit. So now, because you have whoever is performing that tapasya or approaching to the demigods, and because they have done that process and they acquired to buy that benefit from that benediction from the demigods. So demigods are obliged. It's a business. When you approach the demigods, it's a business. When you approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it's utmost love. It's like a father who is a shop owner. And if a son goes and if the want to buy cigarettes or something, a loving father, even though he is giving the money, the father won't give him. But if he goes to some other shop where the shop owner is not the father, and he gives whatever he wants. So the difference is the dealings with the demigods is out of duty or out of business. The dealings with the Supreme Personality of Godhead is out of love, out of love and affection. And the benefits, the when we approach the demigods, whatever the benedictions we get, they are like the analogy, right? Like if you approach the mother never wants to give the poison to their kids. She always wants to give a sweet nectar, right? Similarly, so that's the difference. So demigods, they, when you approach them, they gave you what you want. But Supreme Personality of Godhead gives you only what you need. He takes away whatever you don't need. And we have many examples like Hiranyakashipu approaching the demigods, and like that, many examples we have. And that the results obtained from worshiping the demigods are temporary. The results obtained approaching the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So why settle for the temporary things? Then, so we should recognize this fact, that recognize the various position of the jiva, jivatma. Supreme Personality of Godhead, demigods, and the characteristics of their worship, characteristics of the benedictions they gave, and whom to approach. So, and who is that Dhira, and what is the real bona fide parampara. So once we should recognize that, then we should respect. So demigods are the bona fide representatives of the Supreme Lord. We have to have utmost respect for them, and we have to honor them. Like when we should not develop hatred, right? So because they are the bona fide representatives of Supreme Lord, and they are helping the Supreme Lord in running this cosmic manifestation. And some of them are the pure devotees, some are the Jnana Mishra or Karma Mishra Bhaktas. So we have to, when we have to respect them, we should have utmost respect to them. Then rectify. So once, if you don't respect them, what happens? We have a tendency to commit aparadhas. There are two kinds of aparadhas, Vaishnava Ninda and Nama aparadhas. So these are in the sadhaka's life. So what are the stumbling blocks not able to progress, right? Basically the Nama aparadha. So what is the Nama aparadha? What is one of the 10 offenses? To consider names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Brahma to be equal to or independent of holiness of Lord Vishnu. So if without when we approach or when we see the demigods, we should make sure we are respecting them. We should have proper clarity that they are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. They are devotees, either pure or Jnanamisa or Kamlamisa Bhaktas. They are serving the Supreme Lord, and they will be pleased when you approach them, asking for remove all the obstacles and help us to become a pure devotees of the Lord. They will be utmost pleased. They won't be pleased by approaching them for any material benedictions. So we have to be careful. So once we recognize their position, then we need to respect them. Then we need to rectify this propensity of committing offenses. These committing offenses, either Vaishnava Ninda or the um, other Nama Aparad, what happens is if you continues to commit, we basically uh, lose our spiritual progress. We lose the mercy of the Supreme Lord on us. And we basically, this nindas removes all the good qualities, and also removes a taste we have developed in the chanting the holy name. So we have to be utmost careful um, dealing with our dealings with our approach or our intentions, our dealings with the demigods. Then we have to purify our desires. How do we purify our desires? With proper association, proper sangha. Then and also proper scriptural understanding, guru, sadhu, shastra, and then chanting the holy names without offenses and properly following the process given to us. So with that, the summary is we need to recognize, respect, and rectify. Eventually, we will be make ourselves eligible to receive the mercy of the Supreme Lord. With that, I will conclude. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thanks all of you for blessing me and giving this opportunity to serve you.
Hare Krishna, Sreenivas Gopal Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you very much for a very nice class, Prabhu. I think it's a very sensitive topic, and you handled it very nicely by explaining the philosophy behind the demigod worship and why the devotee should be directly worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So you have also quoted beautiful analogies from Shastra and the story of Brahmana approaching Sanatana Goswami. Thank you very much, Prabhu. I would request the devotees to unmute the line and share the questions or comments.
And please correct me any mistakes or anything else.
Hare Krishna, Sreenivas Gopal Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. So nice, Prabhu. So, kind of a flow, so nice. And quoted very nice slokas from Bhagavata and very nicely explained the subject. Thank you so much, Prabhu. So much. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thanks for the wonderful class, Prabhu. You gave all the information we needed And as Prabhu said, it's a very sensitive topic. I've seen people taking offense even at what we just read out from Bhagavad Gita, that they keep asking why Lord is telling like that. So I think it takes some time for them to leave their old habits and really understand, Prabhu. And you gave such a wonderful class, Prabhu. Thank you very much. Dandavat Pranams.
Any other comments or questions from the devotees? Okay, I think there are no questions, Prabhu. Thank you very much, Sreenivas Gopal Prabhu, once again, for sharing the nectar from Srimad Bhagavatam and also sharing the appropriate analogy and references from the scripture. That really helps us to understand, and also it brings a lot of authenticity to emphasize the point. Thank you very much, Prabhu. So we'll end today's session with Vaishnava Pranam. Vancha Kalpata Rubhyasya Asinto Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, सब कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल. Thank you, devotees. We will end this.